Hi guys, Mike here. I know it's been a while, but I've been dealing with some life stuff, and possibly moving soon. But I'm here today with a new type of video, and it's about a game I've been very fond of lately. Realm Royale is a battle royale created by Hi-Rez after Paladins Royale never took off. Now, I only know a very limited amount about the game due to only picking it up in January, but I have a special guest here, someone who's competed in several tournaments in the game, as well as being a streamer for the game on its official Twitch channel, as well as his own. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome GentleGiant.
So I guess just a little bit about myself. I started playing Realm when this game very first dropped on Steam, fell in love immediately, and quickly became known in the community and just kind of rose in the ranks, I guess. I ended up getting invited to all the 10K tournaments they did back in the day. I played in one of the 100K tournaments, and I did pretty well, and became very well known in the community. And eventually Hi-Rez, I ended up streaming for them. So I streamed for Hi-Rez on their official Realm Royale channel. And I have been just playing this game constantly ever since.
Yeah, I've been playing this since January, and I love the way that the game plays. Now, I've seen old videos of Realm Royale, and I'll probably get into discussion on the old Realm versus the new Realm in another video. But for now, I just want to try and get as many people that I know and view my videos to try this game out, at least, even if they aren't a huge fan of battle royales in general, because it kind of takes two games that a lot of people would most likely have tried, as Overwatch, as it's a shooter with abilities, and PUBG, but then you kind of combine it with Fortnite's graphics, and you bring it into a game that's honestly a lot of fun for a competitive player and for a casual player.
Yeah, I agree. And this game also really caters towards like the MOBA players and the MMO players. It's a class-based battle royale, so people fall in love with that aspect of the game.
Absolutely. I honestly think if the player base continues to grow and you start seeing a booming esports scene, you're going to see some really interesting strategies and tactics come out of this game.
Oh yeah, even like back in the day, like the tournaments, the plays you can make in this game, the feeling of like the crazy fights that happen in this game are like a feeling that you get in no other game out there. It was pretty insane, so I really hope that comes back.
There's tons of stuff that's viable for a casual player, and there's a lot of stuff that's a bit of a meme, but it's a lot of fun to try in the game.
Yeah, it's something that they've incorporated lately, is like the whole talent tree thing. It really lets you go a bunch of different routes. I mean, there's gonna be a meta, there's gonna be a best route, but like you said, there's definitely some fun meme things you can try out that lets you have some more fun.
Oh, absolutely. So this is a series I hope to continue if the reception is good, but I want to show you guys this awesome game and give you guys some insight on how to play the game, how to get better, while giving competitive players and streamers opinions on different aspects of the game. Today, we're just going to get over how to get started into the game, the purpose of the game, and how to get better at the game. Realm Royale, like most battle royales, has 100 players drop from a ship onto a map, with the objective being that you must be the last person on the map to survive, which is what basically what a giant free-for-all is, kind of like the Hunger Games. Or, if you play in duos and squads, your squad has to be the last remaining. One of the big differences from, say, PUBG or H1Z1 is that this is a class-based shooter, relying on abilities to move or attack your opponents almost as much as you rely on your aim. With that being said, we're going to get into game, and I want to show you guys how to play the game and also how to get better at the game today. Okay, with that being said, I will have GentleGiant here explain to you guys how the game is played at its core, and then we will discuss decision making, how to take gunfights better, and how to get better at the game overall.
Alright, so I mean, I guess just like for those of you who have played BRs, even for those of you who haven't, you drop, you find a place, you drop with nothing. You gotta find some loot, and you gotta fend yourself off, get some kills. And something that's different in this game is when you find loot that you don't want, you actually shard that loot, which will give you shards. And you'll see once we get into game, there are forges around the map. And at those forges, you can use your shards to craft different things for your classes, as in weapons, abilities, and runes, which I'm sure we'll get more into those later on. You use those things to continue out through the game to try to be the last one surviving. So something that's one of the biggest things about this game that's different from all the other BRs out there is this has classes, like pure classes. So once we get into the screen, you'll see warrior, mage, hunter, and assassin. All these classes play differently. My personal favorite is the warrior. I've been a warrior main basically ever since this game has been out. It's a very aggressive play style. There's a class for every play style out there. The hunter is more of like mid to long range, just doing big damages, being sneaky. Assassin, if you love to snipe, assassin's your guy. Has a lot of outplay ability with his abilities. And then mage is very
interesting.
Has high very interesting, has high survivability, just kind of does everything right now. It's a very strong class.
I found that with the mage, she seems to be more of the mid-range class, peppering people from kind of like close to medium range, whereas hunter, you want to be generally away from them. There isn't really a lot of damage fall off for the longbow, for weapons like that. All right, so we're going to let's go to Lumberfall.
Okay.
We'll go to the barn.
Okay.
So as you guys see on this map here, there's several different areas located on the map. These are generally spots that are identified as cities, and then the larger text being a larger region. Now once you land, you have an ability and you have your dagger. So we both go into these chests, we pick out our abilities and weapons out of these chests, and possibly runes, but we'll get into those a little later. And then once we have a weapon, we try to find other people to eliminate in the game, and then eventually try and be the last one surviving. Excellent. Crossbow. Now we hear fighting over here in the west, so we're gonna third party this fight.
Right. So something when you're fighting is you always want to try to keep high ground on people. If you can have high ground, it's a huge advantage. You also want to always have cover in this game. We can probably show your viewers later, but we'll show them how to right peek and everything. Right peeking is very important in this game.
So the next point I wanted to talk about is decision making. For example, how to take your gunfights better, and in general, how to get better at the game overall.
Something that I tell people all the time is use your advantage. If you can get a health advantage over your opponent, you push that fight. If you can get high ground, you get that high ground. And then while fighting, right peeking is probably like the biggest thing in this game. So what that means is when you have cover and you're trying to shoot at somebody, you want to peek on the right side of that cover, shoot, go back behind cover, peek, shoot, go back behind cover. And the reason why you do it on the right side is because your camera is over your right shoulder, so you can see a lot more on that right side. Usually you don't want to peek on the left side because they can see your entire body when you peek left side, so you'll get shot very easily. But if you peek on the right side, they can basically only see like your gun and part of your body. So a lot of the fighting is revolved around that right peeking. You want to fight for that right peek. Sometimes you end up playing Ring Around the Rosies with your opponents, trying to get that right peek on them. To kind of learn how to play the game, honestly, you just got to hot drop. You just got to get in fights. The more you fight, the better you get. So just kind of figure out where people are dropping. There are more popular drops, and just fight over and over. You're gonna die. Even I die, and I've played this game more than most, and I die a lot, so
excellent.
There's always ways to improve.
Excellent. So now, for my viewers who don't know what a hot drop is, who haven't played a battle royale, would you care to elaborate on what a hot drop is?
Yeah, a hot drop just means a place on the map where usually a lot of people will drop. So in this game, the most popular drops are Crossing, Lumberfall, and Jade Gardens. Sometimes Fungal Forest will get a decent amount, but those three are basically the most popular drops. And if you're trying to get a lot of kills, if you're trying to fight a bunch of people early game, that's where you want to drop.
Sounds good. All right, now that we've discussed a bit about hot drop, what weapons are you looking for generally when you hot drop in any specific area?
The best early game weapons currently are the slug rifle and the revolver. The pistol is also good. I personally think the revolver is better than the pistol, and the slug is definitely the best like class neutral weapon. And what that means is these weapons such as the slug rifle, the revolver, the pistol, the assault rifle, the SMG, the burst rifle, those are all class neutral weapons. They don't get buffed from a certain class, so these are usually the weapons that you're going to find early game. So slug, revolver are definitely top tier, and then pistol right under that. and then shotgun probably under that, and then SMG, assault rifle, and burst rifle are all bad weapons. Only use them if you absolutely have to.
Now that we've touched on the weapons, another important aspect of the game is, of course, the class system. And one of the strongest part about the class system is the abilities. Which abilities are you looking for in general, and then which ones are you looking for specifically for a class in the early game when you're hot dropping?
Okay. So early game, mainly like heals are very strong early game. If you can find a good healing station or a good healing shout early game, it's very strong because you don't have armor early game, so you're going to be taking damage in the health, so those heals will help you to kind of counteract that. And then throughout the game, the abilities you want to find are mainly dependent on what you choose in your loadout for the talent tree. But for each class, generally, like the warrior, you're going to want to be using the healing shout, or sometimes the net. The hunter, you're going to be wanting using either the flare or the blast arrow, I think is what it's called. And then for mage, usually you want to have the healing station. And then assassin, you can either run concussion bomb or smoke screen. I prefer concussion bomb. I think most people do. And then for movement abilities, assassin, you usually want to have blink. Mage, you want to have soar. Warrior, you want to have leap. Hunter, you want to have withdraw. And that's generally speaking. You can use the other class movement abilities, but those are typically the best ones to use.
Now that we have a game plan for you to win these games, we're going to talk about where to land on the map. We've touched on how landing in popular areas will allow you to fight more people, but GentleGiant here is going to tell us the best spots to land for the most practice in your game.
Obviously, we talked about the hot drops, and that's going to get you the most fights early. I think that's really going to help you most with your learning how to gunfight. But if you're trying to like win the game, get dubs, being able to last into late game, you want to land somewhere where maybe it's not considered a hot drop, but hopefully there's still a few people there, because you do need to kill people to get shards, and you need those shards to craft your abilities and weapons and such. So those kind of places are more of like Trinity Hills, Autumn Fields, Lost Forge, Forbidden Swamp, Jaguar's Claws, Northport. Really, you don't want to be dropping Guntown, Goblin Gulch, or Outpost. The loot there is very spread out and pretty scarce. Kind of the same over in the ice areas, except with the exception of the ice graveyard at the top right hand of the map. That has a ton of loot. I don't really like to drop there just because it's very far away, usually from the circle, and the rotations take a long time, but it is a very good place to drop and get a lot of loot at. Those are usually the places you want to drop at if you want to get decent loot and be able to find at least a few people to kind of try to snowball the rest of your game, get your weapon, and be able to fight mid-game fights.
All right, so for the most part, that's everything I wanted to ask today. So what's different in this game from a lot of other BRs as well is when you hit an enemy down and they lose all of their health, they don't go down, they turn into a chicken. And you are able to self-revive yourself without having to have a teammate come and pick you up and lose their positioning. However, you have a set amount of health that you have to go through, where if you lose that health, that's it. Your time on this game is done. Now, unlike other games, you have the option to go to the Forge, as Giant has said earlier, and resurrect your teammates. So, Giant, if you want to, feel free to shout out your social media. Everyone who is watching this video, please show GentleGiant some support, going to his social media, following him, giving him any sort of support you guys choose, because he's one of the people I would recommend the most when it comes to learning how to play Rome.
If you guys want to catch me on Twitch sometime, I do stream on Twitch daily. Gentle_Giant is my Twitch name, and then my Twitter handle is Gentle_Giant7.